I was up early this morning making some notes for today's YouTube post. Today is Thursday, May the 7th. Usually the topic for these videos doesn't come to me until the day I start preparing for them. This one came to me last night in my sleep. There won't be many Bible scriptures in the video today, mainly just some small stories that combine into a bigger story from a time in the past. And for any scriptures that might be used, it can easily be argued that they are misused or misapplied. I will admit that up front. I will take at least 2, maybe 3 sessions to get this message out. So bear with me. I will still make sure and limit each video to 5 minutes or less. Remember last week when Gary and Sharon went to the Veterans Memorial at Teague Park? They visited the replica of the Vietnam Monument, where the names of 58,000 soldiers are engraved on a long black wall. 58,000 names of American soldiers who were sent to that remote jungle in southeastern Asia, but never returned alive. When I showed you the picture of Gary with his sister and brother-in-law at the replica of the Vietnam Wall, I told you about a high school friend of mine from Espermont, Texas. He was killed in action in Vietnam on April 10th, 1968. He was one of 33 kids who graduated from high school with me, so we all knew each other pretty well after several years of attending public school together. Well, on Tuesday, Beverly and I went to visit Teague Park and see the war memorials. You may recall from the video last week of Gary and Sharon's visit to the park that my friend's name was Tommy Dale Walker. His name is shown here. Why do I go back to retell this story today and show you this picture? The message I want to convey is something like this. Life is full of highs and lows. Life is full of straightaways and curves. Life is full of events that when they are happening, it just seems random, but with the benefit of the passing of time, the pieces of the puzzle start fitting together. Maybe that is the way with COVID-19. Here is the only scripture for today. Allow me to quote it out of context, but the lesson is applicable to this message. 1 Corinthians 13:12 says, "For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror, but when the time comes we shall see face to face. Today I know in part, but then I shall know fully." Life is lived in pieces, and the pieces fit together to make up the whole. COVID-19 has become a part of the picture of life. It will be one of the puzzle pieces that make up the story of your life. Today we cannot see clearly, but at some point down the path of time, we will see face to face, and we will fully know. On December 1st, 1969, in my senior year of college, the first ever draft lottery was held. My lottery number was 52, and if you are unfamiliar with lottery numbers, that is a low number, which means bad. High numbers meant good, low numbers meant not so good. I found this on the internet this morning as I was preparing some thoughts for today's message. Everyone born on January the 25th was called for prospective service in the military. It says if my birthday had been 3 days earlier, on January the 22nd, I would not have been called. Being called for the draft did not mean you were drafted. It meant you had to report to a military recruiting office for tests to determine if you were physically fit to serve. Well, of all things, I failed my draft physical. There were 42 of us being tested. We had been transported from the local draft board office to the recruiting center in Abilene by bus. Of the 42 young men tested, I was the only one who failed. I had just played 4 years of college football, was in the best shape of my life, and could not imagine being any healthier than I was at that time, except for a very obvious scar on my knee where I had had knee surgery 4 years earlier in my senior year of high school. The examining physician looked at me and immediately said, "You will be 4F." And I said, "Okay, what does that mean?" He said, "You are physically unfit for military duty." In other words, I would not be drafted. Did that event change our lives? Yes, very much so. Probably in the top 5 of life-changing events for me. Often the things that don't happen to you can be more impacting than the things that do occur. Okay, I'm closing in on my 5-minute time constraint, maybe a little over. This will be to be continued. Until tomorrow, thank you. Goodbye.